Sup my dudes, Valkyrja, and today I want to talk to you guys about the thing I get asked the most as a content creator slash a streamer for starrail. Whenever I'm in the middle of my streams, it's like, Val, can you help me out? I have these units, I'm struggling, I can't beat the bosses, I'm getting stuck on bosses. Normally, if you're getting stuck on a boss, it's because your team structure isn't that good, and you can fix it very easily, and I'm going to tell you guys how to structure a team today. But one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is specific synergies. Now, later on in the video, I'm going to list examples of synergies to look for, but in the end, you're going to have to determine what team to use best for yourself. Everybody's going to have different characters. Like, you can be like me, to where the game feels like giving you nothing but hook. If I load up here, you'll see what I mean. For me, the game said, you know what? Let's give you hook. So now I have a E6 hook. Yep. But that's just how it is. The game's going to give you what it gives you, and how you use your stuff that's given to you and how you play around it is up to you to determine. So let's go ahead, let's get into team structure. It's probably the easiest thing to cover. You're going to want, first off in your team, is an AoE. An AoE is going to kind of take care of all the extra adds that bosses spawn in, and it's going to be a way to wave clear quickly and just get through waves, get through stuff very fast, because you got to have a way to clear waves inside the game. Next, you're going to want a single target damage dealer. Somebody that can just do single target directed damage directly on a character or on an enemy to try to clear out stuff as fast, or not clear out stuff as fast as possible, but try to hit as hard as possible is what I mean to say. You want them to try to hit as hard as possible, and that way you can try to take care of elites quicker, because AoE is going to struggle really hard with elites. If you have too many AoE on your team, and you're probably struggling with elites, as well as if you have too much single target damage, you're probably struggling to clear out adds inside abyss floors and stuff like that. But you want to kind of follow the structure. Then you have one support that synergizes with the team, that ties everything together, and then you have a healer. The healer is literally there as a just in case, because you will go against enemies that will borderline one-shot you if you do not play correctly. Especially with Simulated Universe. I've just beaten World 5 in Simulated Universe. And at World 5, you go against Kafka at the very end, and she will one-tap you if you're not careful. It's very important to manage this heal and have a healer on dock or on deck ready to go, because healing is incredibly important. So you definitely want a healer. You want Natasha, you want Bailu. Those are really the only two options right now. I really hope they add more than 2 healers, because my second team doesn't have a 4th slot. Yeah, I'm working on the second team for Abyss, and it kind of needs a 4th slot. So a healer would be very nice. But I digress. You want a healer, you want a support that synergizes, you want a single target, and you want an AoE. This is just a general rule to follow. Now, I'm going to talk about specific synergies to look for, but once again, you're going to want to draw your own conclusions. So I'm going to bring up this team here, and I'll talk about the second team in a second. But I'm going to bring up this team here and tell you guys exactly how this team works and why this team works really well for me. This team doesn't clear the fastest. It's not the highest damage. However, it's very, very brick wall-y. It will hold up against a lot of damage, and it will dish out a ton of damage in the right circumstances, thanks to Clara. Seal also has circumstantial pop-offs. You guys all should know how Seal works by now. Seal, she just absolutely can run through enemies. If she gets a single reset, she's just off to the races. But I want to talk about this. So, first off, to understand why March is here. A lot of people will be like, Valk, why are you touting March? Why do you spout so much March? Well, it's because she works really well with Clara. And to explain the synergy, I'm going to explain how first Clara works, and then I'm going to explain March. So Clara, she basically works completely around this talent. Under the Protectionist Frog, damage taken by Clara when hit by enemy attacks is reduced by 10%. He will mark enemies who attack Clara with his mark of counter and retaliate with a counter dealing physical damage equal to 104% of Clara's attack. The ultimate just makes it better and makes it so if they attack any enemy, they will eat the big counter. The big counter, I think, is 219% right now. And enemies adjacent to it take 50% of the damage dealt. It happens 2 times per turn as long as it's not attacking her. But if they are attacking her, it's infinitely. So you want them to attack Clara. You want them to directly attack Clara. So how can you do that when there's no way to taunt in the game with Clara currently? Well, How can I get enemies to attack Clara? Well, it's very simple. March. March provides a shield that can absorb damage equal to 45% of March's defense, plus 475 for 3 turns if the ally current HP is 30% or greater, greatly increases the chance of enemies attacking that ally, which also synergizes with Clara's ultimate. Ultimate greatly increases the chance of being attacked by enemies for 2 turns. So she's going to get attacked a lot. She increases the chance to be attacked. This increases the chance to be attacked. So it's kind of like a soft taunt to where you're not 100% guaranteed that they're going to attack Clara, but it's a pretty high chance. So this is the synergy I was talking about. This is why you want to support that synergizes with the team, because Clara is the center of this team. Clara is going to do big AoE damage to everybody thanks to her ultimate, thanks to her talent, and then Sealy is going to come through and just one-tap everybody and clean up, and then charge up her ultimate for a big nuke on the boss. And that's kind of how I play this team out. It's meant to be very synergistic. It's meant to work together between these 3 units, and then Natasha is here just to heal. She also has a debuff cleanse just in case it's needed, but she is here purely to heal. So I'm going to talk about my second team. My second team is missing a healer, keep that in mind. So I'm going to talk about the synergy between the first 3 units and the thought process between it, or the first, I'm not going to count the MC, I just kind of have her here to draw aggro. I'll talk about the team as a whole. So Yangqing, if you guys don't know how Yangqing works, Yangqing is absolutely cracked, but you want to try to give him multiple turns. I don't have Bronya. Bronya is perfect with Yangqing, the absolute best pairing. Bronya plus Yangqing is going to allow Yangqing to have multiple turns, and Yangqing to just pop off and do his stacks, do his thing. And as long as Yangqing doesn't get hit, he's just an absolute monster. But you want to try to give him multiple turns, and the only way I can really do that is Asta. Asta on her ult gives attack speed, or gives speed to the entire team, which lets Yangqing have multiple turns within a turn, have multiple actions within a turn. Herta is going to be here to do follow-up damage on each of Yangqing's actives, because he's going to go ahead and do a lot of damage on his normals whenever his normals are amplified by his skill. And then the MC is here just to keep Yangqing from getting hit, because if Yangqing gets hit, then it's going to remove his skill buff. So this is kind of the synergy that was going along. This is what I'm talking about. This team's not very good because it doesn't have a healer. It doesn't have any way to actually sustain. There's a lot of work still to be done before the team does any sort of damage. They have a lot of work to be done, but it's a synergy that I'm talking about. Like with Yangqing, you're looking to try to give him more actions inside of a turn. So stuff like Bronya, stuff like Asta, stuff that increases attack speed, gives him extra turns, etc. Another common one I see is Welt. A lot of people pull Welt. I don't have Welt, but I'm bringing up this screen just so I can talk about it. Everyone asks who they should run with Welt, because I've seen people be like, I can't deal with bosses with Welt because I'm using Welt, Herta, etc. The thing is Welt on his skill has a 65% base chance to slow enemies for 2 turns. Now, if you use him with Dan, Dan is a really, really high single target damage dealer. And if you look on his ultimate, if the enemy is slowed, the ultimate's damage multiplier increases by 72%. This is another synergy that I'm trying to talk about, that I'm trying to bring up so you guys get the gear rolling, so you guys can think, what characters do my characters synergize with? Because there's lots of synergies in this game that makes pretty much every character viable inside their own team composition, and makes them all playable. So, for example, if you play him with Welt, Welt is going to slow the enemy, Dan is going to absolutely blast the enemy with the ult, and then you're going to be able to just absolutely cook with Dan because you have all of his other stuff going. And then if you run Dan with literally a healer like Natasha, anybody that targets Dan, he just needs to be the target of an ally's ability. He's also going to get wind res penetration. So literally any buffer. A good one would be Bronya that way, because Bronya's a really, really cracked buffer. Or Tin Yum would be another really cracked buffer for him, because Tin Yum would be able to buff his attack for the big one-shot nuke that you're going to try to do with his ult off of Welt's slow. There is lots of options. You just have to think of the synergies for yourself. Anyways, hopefully this video helps you guys out, because this is a mistake I've seen a lot of players making whenever it comes to team composition and team building. You can't really just throw strong characters together. They have to synergize. Like, I have this cool 5-star right here that I'm building, but I can't use because I don't have a team for him. You have to have synergistic teams to be able to play this game, otherwise you're going to get absolutely rolled. I hate to say it like that, but you have to play a specific way, or you're going to get rolled into harder content. It's that simple. You have to have a strong team that complements each other, that works together as a good, a good stable group, a good stable squad. Otherwise, it all just falls apart and you just get absolutely clapped because you're not playing to your character's strengths. Anyways, that's the video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll answer the ones that I feel like I didn't answer in the video if they're relevant to this video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.